Sorry. Okay, we are recording, so you can.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm calling this meeting to order at 8:34. My name is Fritz Friedman. I'm the Vice Chair of the City of San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture Public Arts Committee. Due to prior obligation, Commissioner Offset is unable to join us today. We're going to do a quick roll call to confirm member attendance. When I call your name, please say present. Dr. Melinda Guillen, Wayne Holton, Commissioner A. Hughes, not here. Commissioner Alessandra Montezuma, Dr. Onjun Park, Commissioner Imani Robinson, Dr. Denise Rogers, Jessica Berlanga Taylor. Thank you for your attendance. It has been noted. We'll now move to non-agenda public comment. The public was invited to submit public comment on agenda and non-agenda items via a web form accessible through the agenda and the commission's website. Members of the public may also join this meeting in person and as webinar attendees. If members of the public have submitted comments in writing via the web form, staff will read aloud public comments submitted per city public comment protocol. I will call on Chuck to read aloud any non-agenda public comment or to call on any attendee who would like to provide comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Friedman. Currently no attendees, either in person or virtually.
Thank you. We'll go to the chair's report. I will briefly mention that the artist selection panel's recommendations for the San Carlos Branch Library Public Arts Project were approved in September's full commission meeting. However, no other updates pertaining to public art. As we have two action items for consideration today, I will leave it at that. Okay, we have action. I hope everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from the September meeting. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes as they are? Anyone?
So moved.
And may I get a second?
Second.
Now we have a motion, a second. Is there any discussion? Thank you. Now we will take a vote. I will call your name and you will respond out loud with yay, nay, or abstain. Remember that you do not need to have been present at the September meeting to vote or discuss. Dr. Guillen is not here. Oh, there she go. You're in.
Make sure you're right.
Well, let me just put down the two that you not being here. I'm going to send you a note. Anyway, thank you very much. Wayne Holton.
Yay.
Commissioner A. Hughes. Commissioner Montezuma is not here. Dr. Jim Park. Here. Yay. Sorry. That's okay. Dr. Denise Rogers. Ms. Melinda Taylor. And my vote is yay. Thank you. Chuck, please read any public comment for this item that was submitted in writing and call on any attendees who would like to provide a comment on this particular item.
Thank you, Commissioner Friedman. Currently no attendees.
Thank you. So let's talk about the final artwork proposal for Hidden Trails Park. I will start with conflict of interest disclosures. The recommendation affects contracts with artist Trevor A. Please assess whether you have any conflicts to disclose. And when I call your name, if you have no conflicts, state no conflicts. If you do have a conflict, please recuse yourself from the discussion and voting on the action item. Let's see, Dr. Guillen?
No conflict.
Okay, Mr. Holton,
No conflict.
Commissioner Hughes? Here, Dr. Jim Park, Dr. Park, one is out here, Dr. Rogers, Ms. Miranda Taylor, and Ms. Thompson. Thank you. I'd like to call on Dr. Laura Bullock to provide an overview of the project proposal and staff recommendation.
Thank you, Commissioner Friedman. So this slide that is on the screen currently just shows the urban development process, and we're in an exciting part of this process. Because today we are going to approve the final design put forward by Trevor Amory. So after that, then this project will be presented to the commission, and then after that, the artist can begin construction documents and then eventually fabrication and installation. And as a reminder, that takes usually a few years, but so you'll remember it when it comes back around. So here's your role today. So you're just gonna make a recommendation on the artist's final art proposal. And as I said, then it'll move to the commission and then they'll recommend that to the executive director. Okay, so. Thank you so much. I'll stand. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, so. This is Trail Neighborhood Park Public Art Project by Trevor Amory. So it's a series of sculptural activations that Trevor has planned for the park. Right now, this is just kind of, you see the site plan of the park highlighted in yellow. So it's kind of nestled within a neighborhood, and the artist really conceived of his artwork as part of the neighborhood's backyard. So we wanted to make a series of activations that the community of all ages could interact and engage with. So on this slide, you can see the 4 different activations that he's proposing, and I'll go through them one by one. So this slide, his research and the process, he met with the community several times at the Meet the Artist event and the Artist Open House event. You guys have given feedback twice on this project as well. And the public has been, invited widely to give their feedback at every step along the way. And so Trevor considered all of the feedback carefully, and the result is what you are seeing today. So the first activation is the lava field. So this is inspired by the children's game where you pretend that the floor is lava and you want to kind of pop so you don't throw your feet in the lava. So one of the considerations in the development of this artwork was the natural landscape. And so all the rock formations that you'll see in these different activations are inspired by and relevant to the site. So using certain granites and stones that are local to the Otay Mesa and San Diego region. There's another slide about the description of it. The base, the platform will be sort of like a top lot, bouncy surface. So if kids, fall off, they won't get injured. That's been taken into consideration, as well as ADA, height of each rock, the materials involved in each rock, etc. And some of the rocks will have a lighting component on the outside of the rock that can shine towards them. Okay, the second activation is the stone library. This was inspired by kind of that free library idea where you see like on the side of the sidewalk, maybe someone has made a little structure that has books that you could take and leave one of your own, except in the form again of like a local stone. So this will be an actual stone material that the artist will source from somewhere nearby that provides stone. And so each niche provides an opportunity for someone to maybe leave an object or take an object, and that's kind of how it'll work as a library. There's a picture of what it's inspired by on this topic. And then the third activation is the listener. So this is an anthropomorphic stone figure that is kind of like a poetic meditation space that the artist has kind of envisioned. It is the park bench it's gonna be like kind of a standard park bench size, that he's going to put this sculptural stone figure on the side of the bench, so people can sit next to it, talk to it, become their friend. And it will also have space on the side for someone, if they're in a wheelchair, so they can also kind of come up next to the listener. Like I was looking for. But, okay, and then the final kind of permanent activation is this sculpture, which the artist calls the timekeeper. And it consists of one tree sculpture, and it's two-sided, and each side is different. And it's inspired by a series that the artist has worked on previously, where he kind of really looked at trees and how they keep time, quote unquote, in terms of like the rings, or in this case, showing the eye, because as aspen trees age, they lose their branches, you can kind of see the marks of time on the trunk itself.
Question for you on this.
Yes.
I thought there was gonna be a series of trunks.
Yeah, so there was initially going to be a series of trunks, but after kind of talking with the fabricator and the engineer, the artist ended up doing one because of a series of things, the cost, and this one's kind of a little more robust, and kind of withstand elements more. So just within the budget and kind of just making and doing further research with an engineer and fabricator, this is kind of the result. Okay, and then finally, this one is not a permanent activation. So the artist can hold a contest where local community children will submit drawings, and then he's going to create vinyl patches or vinyl, we'll call them stickers, but they're not going to be like permanent stickers from the drawings. And then there's gonna, on the grand opening day, he's gonna install them or place them around the park and have a contest. So the children will find, whoever finds all of the drawings will then get rewarded with patches the artist has made of the drawing. So that's what this is, just a way to kind of get the community excited and draw attention to the artwork. And here's an image of some patches from the previous project. Okay, so today the recommendation is for staff to recommend to the City of San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture that the executive director of the commission accept the final art proposal by Trevor Hillman of the City of San Diego's collecting mission, collection scope, and accession criteria. So with that, I guess, any comments, or if you'd like to launch right into a vote? Okay.
Just one other question on the lava field that occurred to me now, seeing it now a little bit more drawn out. What kind of protection for that do we have on those?
Well, so when the artist has his engineering drawings, that's something that he's taking into consideration. They'll be really kind of lodged into the ground with things like footings, and that will be kind of like architecturally vetted by an engineer and then reviewed by our development services department to make sure they're secure. So we still have kind of like two phases of that design work, but I will record that and make sure, you know, but that's kind of in mind.
Doesn't really go anywhere.
These are gonna be in the spongy thing, right?
Yeah.
Maybe below that, they could probably put it in some other.
Yeah.
All right.
So if I can have a question, so is that design closed? I mean, in the sense that your comment about just having one stump. Is there any way that we reconsider to have smaller stumps, but just having one stump? Just my personal thought, doesn't really evoke. I thought it was what I try to do, but you know, there was whatever is considered.
Well, I mean, you can always make a recommendation for for the artists to kind of reevaluate to see if there's a possibility. But, just be mindful that, he's working with the budget, things like that. You can always do that as a recommendation.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be,
It's not,
Yeah.
it's vision. So we can vote for giving the artists more money. Yes.
Well, also the thing is, maybe the same budget, there can it be made smaller stuff that go down. I don't know.
It's 12 right now.
And 8 and 15 inches wide, so it's quite substantial truck. And to be fair, you have to quiet a few, which make it just kind of obvious, whereas this, I think, even pulled back a little bit, still like it's something to find, it's something special, one of many. Budget permitting, I think we'd love to do more, but yeah.
I just want, I like the overall concept. I was just wondering whether, what options, if that's what it is, because that's what the budget is. I mean,
I'm wondering if, as she mentioned, we could give direction to coordinate it specifically with Spurlock with the landscape design so that it does become either a part of a repetition of cases in conjunction with live and sculptural, or, create the space to focus on the one piece. I think
Or
maybe so.
one option is to take one of the live trees out, put this in it, so that it becomes part of the overall.
Looks like it's a tree.
It looks, but you see, it's very unique. Just the thought. Would want to see.
Commented kind of repurchase of CSD.
Yeah.
The Robert Irwin area where it is kind of like a special kind of process. Oh, we moved it.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I don't, so are you saying that the way it is, or are you saying maybe it's incorporated part of it and you discover it, or seeing it, people, oh my God.
Yeah.
There is. And I
It's very
agree.
special that way, I think it's also suggested of someone going off the path, it's finding it rather than being directed.
Sure, so the recommendation is, before it was positioned that way because there was to be a series, and I think it makes sense on the sidewalk. Now it sounds to me like what we're recommending is, let's put it in there in that little forest somewhere, so it's in the summary process.
Yeah.
But just to replace it for only one there. it seems-
Okay, there is, accessibility considerations, because I didn't show here, in place. And the artist has worked very, very intently and, with Spurlock to place it. So you can make a recommendation for them to further evaluate it, but just be mindful that a lot of considerations are in place already. So I'll just share that.
I just want to make sure that this is one of the ideas that was considered. So they're mindful of a lot of consideration, but I'd like to see if this one was considered. Because it seems to me as, as what we're all kind of, it'd be fun to look, I mean, you see the things discovered.
It requires sidewalk. to get
Yeah.
it
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I know there are a lot of reasons why it's difficult, and it's not a reason why, there's no right reasons we can all think. Okay, so let's just, my suggestion is to explore that a little bit more and then go from there. So anyway, that's my thought. So anyway, thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Bullock. Would anyone like to make a motion to recommend to the commission that the executive, director accept the final article proposal? In fulfillment of the city's collective mission and scope. Would anyone like to second that? Or would anyone like to? Okay, and second?
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any, well, have we had a discussion? I think we have already. Now we'll take a vote. I will call your name and you will respond with yea, nay, or abstain. Dr. Yan? Mr. Holden? Mr. Hughes? Who was absent? Dr. Park. Commissioner Robinson.
Yay.
Dr. Rogers. Ms. Berlanga Taylor,
Yay.
and my vote is abstain. Thank you. Now, final art proposal for Southwest Park by Louise will be discussed. So we'll start with conflict of interest disclosures. The recommendation affects contract with artist Louise Iriste. Please assess whether you have any conflicts to disclose when I call your name. If you have no conflict, state no conflict. If you do have conflict, please recuse yourself from the discussion and voting on the action item. Dr. Deanne,
No conflict.
Mr. Holton, Commissioner Hughes,
No conflict.
okay, Dr. Park, Commissioner Robinson,
No conflict.
Dr. Rogers,
No conflict.
Ms. Berlanga Taylor. Thank you, everyone. Once again, I'd like to call on Dr. Bullock to provide an overview of the project proposal and staff recommendation.
Thank you, Commissioner Freeman. So this project is at the exact same stage as the previous project. So today you'll be looking at the final design and the slide is indirect. But you'll be providing your recommendation on the final proposal to eventually go to commission and then finally ultimately being approved by the executive director. So on this slide, you're seeing kind of outline of the park. It's by a major freeway. And so the title of the artwork is The Theos Solution. And so for this piece, the artist really wanted to make a sculptural, a monumental kind of sculptural piece to honor and enrich the Otay community. She wanted to appeal to a multicultural border community by addressing universal themes. And she was particularly struck in her kind of meetings with the community who were where there were many first and second generation immigrants. And so through kind of discussion with them, it really inspired her to arrive at the design, which you guys have reviewed several times now. She really kind of took direct feedback from the community in the creation of the design. She said she felt their nostalgia of their childhood in Mexico and just being really excited kind of each time she met with them and they saw kind of the new developments of the city. So what she is proposing is a Belladora candle sculpture, but much more than that, more exciting. It's monumental and it incorporates kind of themes from her art practice and her background as a Turkish immigrant who lives on both sides of the border here in Mexico and the US, and from the feedback from the community. So it's a really rich artwork. So in this slide, this is going to be the front element. It will be made of ceramic and also kind of includes elements of local flora and fauna from the Otay region, which is where this park is located. The central element is a cypress tree, which is a universal symbol for fertility and so connectivity, orientation, fertility, and it's also a metaphor for the branchings of families and nature. She frames the main design with high and low relief hand sculpted clay elements. Again, that represent native plants, flowers, and animals from the Otay region. And here is kind of a detail of the ceramic work that she'll be doing, that she'll be applying paint. And so like, it will end up looking like this slide. And here's just kind of a detail of some of the local plans. And so the back side of the candle, or kind of like the main body of the candle, will be a white color, and it will have elements again of local flora and fauna represented as like cut out into the candle, and we'll have an opaque material on the interior so that when the candle is lit from the inside, it will create a glowing effect, just like a candle would in real life. And from feedback from this meeting and the design team, she's worked really intensely to make sure that there's no space between the material on the inside and the outside, no one can climb it, and it will have coatings to prevent or deter graffiti, and so it will be easily removed. There's just another view. And here is a view or a mock-up of what it might look like at night. And here, this slide is just showing kind of the overall site plan. If you notice at the top right, there's a little yellow star. So that's actually the entrance, the main entrance to the park. So when someone enters the park, they can find it with this beautiful sculpture. And then here's kind of a detail of ultimately sort of how it will be sited, which from an overhead view. So the sculpture is the blue circle with the red around it. So it's going to be at the end of this triangle, and the sculpture is 5 feet wide and 16 feet tall. So it's very big, like 2 stories tall. And it will be surrounded by concrete so that everyone can access the sculpture, you know, regardless of ability. And those 2 green circles are just 2 trees that are sort of planted for that lawn area behind. So it's kind of framed with a background. And then the detail of lighting, just reminding you of there will be lighting on the interior, and there will also be lighting on the exterior. So this slide is just showing the light on the ground kind of shining out onto the sculpture. Okay, so the recommendation today is recommend to the San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture that the executive director of the commission is the final approval by police here today on commission for the research and potential modifications to the artwork portions and site interface and fulfillment of the city of San Diego's collection mission, collection scope, and accession criteria.
Thank you, Dr. Bullock. I will now request any public comment for this agenda from Mr. Miller. Please read any public comment that was submitted at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner Friedman. No comments submitted in writing, and currently no one.
Thank you. Would anyone?
Question
Yes.
here. What kind of provisions do we make for the maintenance and for the upkeep of some of these? No one will have electronics as a potential person, could be, who knows, or damage. It's not in the initial budget, I would imagine, it's not in the sinking fund, but there's an overall operational fund for this kind of stuff.
So, the city maintains a public art fund, and each year during the annual budget process, a certain amount of money is provided for collections management. So that helps support, stewardship of the collection, right? So anything from registration work to conservation work and maintenance. The city we also work with departments. So in this case, Park and Rec. So we will work with them, give them guidelines to be able to kind of do the ordinary, meaning like making sure it's clean, there's no stuff on it, letting us know it's stabilized, that type of thing, making sure they bolster those. And then if something extraordinary happens, then we have to typically work with our technicians and operators to address those issues.
Have there been any shortfalls in the funds or always have it?
Well, I think this year we received $75,000 toward conservation and maintenance. Obviously, prior to the pandemic, more collections funds were provided to the public art fund. This is the first year after pre-pandemic that we did receive funds. It does carry over because we don't use them all for people. So, so we do have, reserve in case we have emergencies and things that we probably need to use. But, as the collection continues to grow, collections management is something that needs to be thought of as part of the budget process.
that we need to think about.
Thank you. Would anyone like to make a motion to recommend to the commission that the executive director conditionally accept the final article proposal in fulfillment of the city's collecting mission? So.
The director of commission accepted my offer proposal. It was stated on the condition of the research into potential modifications to the artwork's proportions and site interface and fulfillment of the city of San Diego's collecting mission, collections goal and assertion criteria.
Are you sure about that? Okay, thank you. Now we have a motion in second, we're going to have a second, okay? And now we have a motion in second. Let's take a vote. I'll call your name, you know the protocol. Dr. Deanne,
Yay.
Mr. Holden, Commissioner Hughes. Okay, Dr. Park. Commissioner Robinson.
Yes.
Dr. Rogers.
Yes.
Ms. Veronica Taylor. Thank you.
Discussion.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, probably. The fact that it's next to the freeway, I did not realize that before. So now I'm kind of upset a little bit because with the trees that you won't be able to see that beautiful artwork from the freeway, which would be kind of like, wow, like just driving down 5 freeway, just seeing that glow would have been nice. I'm just realizing this right next to it. So just,
I would just add, having visited the site, that it is in a macro sense, it's next to the freeway, but there's a wall dividing the freeway from the neighborhood, there's frontage road, and then there's the area of the park. So you'd probably need something 60 feet tall to really.
okay. Fair enough, thank you.
Thank you.
And I have just a couple of things. I can just see people taking their own veladoras and creating extra around the fence. So just with the fire hazard. That's why I'm bringing it up.
It's also for the candles, they don't.
No.
People doing sort of research or controls that have to do with. The other thing is the lighting. It's, I'm guessing it's going to be warm lighting, not a cold.
The interior is LED, but she's been doing a lot of research, kind of like to get kind of the right LED lighting.
Yeah, so
And plus
warmer.
muted, so I think, yeah, that will end up being, and then as far as the exterior lighting, that I can give her that feedback, because that hasn't been planned, if the park is gonna sort of provide that light. So I can just talk with them to make sure that it's like a warm,
It's not a light, it was that.
yeah, that's a good,
And it's gonna be bright enough for people to see at night.
yes, yes.
Further discussion? Thank you. I'd like to call on Ms. Christine Jones to provide staff.
Well, first of all, I'm going to be in person. It's being Richard out on this Friday. So first thing, as you all know, Help for Artists is out for something new with the So our community members will ask you to spread that news far and wide. This opportunity, as you might recall, in event to California and California artists. This is for an artist opportunity where we look for 3 artists to create small scale site specific artwork for Encanto in and around the Black Arts and Culture District. So we're really excited to be able to work in that neighborhood around the Black Arts and Culture District. So, please share the news with any artists who you find to be a good fit for that type of project. And the deadline for that is November 2nd. So, you know, it's coming up. So, if you have anybody in mind to share today.
Is it okay that I'm involved? That's because I'm on the advisory council for the district.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have, just so you guys, let's see what's the next slide. So, okay, yes, so as you all know, here comes the neighborhood senior Cedro. The last piece has recently been installed. So we're really excited to have all 3 pieces installed in that community. We are planning to, have a booth at a fall festival at Pasadena Yard, hosting for the community. This is a fall festival they do year after year, and we are going to have a booth there to really introduce the finished artworks to the community. We're gonna have a scavenger hunt for kids. So it's, you know, because it's a kids festival in so many ways, but the community really comes out and grows for this type of an event. So we plan to be there. The artists are gonna come just to celebrate. It's more of an informal festival type of atmosphere, but we will have kind of a scavenger to encourage people to go to the different artworks and come back, and it will be kind of able to be in a raffle for incentives. So if anybody would like to volunteer for the pack to kind of serve as a science docent for any artworks, we would welcome you to participate. And so what that would mean is you could spend time one of the artworks and just reading people that might come by, sharing a little bit of insights about the work. It's totally optional, but if you'd like to volunteer, reach out to us in the next, week or so. The date is October 25th, and it's, which is a Wednesday, and it's from 4 to 8 p.m. And we're just finalizing the details, and we'll get, obviously we will get you all the information, and we'll be making more announcements in the coming week as well. But if anyone's interested in let us know. Well, the fall festival will be kind of at an adjacent kind of like empty lot where Coffee typically does this, it's a walkable area, and all the artworks are walkable too. So everything is very close proximity.
So that's almost about.
Yeah.
Wow.
Be nice if people would buy them, well, I would imagine.
Yeah, like we try to be very mindful of having that. We're looking to potentially have a translator there, and we also try to have materials both in English and Spanish, particularly in communities like San Francisco.
How can we share the open call?
It is on our website, so we can push the mail shove that went out to all the staff members today. So then you can just forward what we sent out, and there's a link there. Where people can access. Do you have an IG? Instagram? We have it even posted, so it's on our SB Arts Culture.
Yeah, there's a link in bio that also is a button that will send you to the artist opportunity stage.
So, and if you can't find any other, just reach out and we'll make sure that you get that information, but we'll forward the mail forward to everybody.
It's artists.
And then finally, our last update today is, while it's not specific to public art, I did want to share a new opportunity that was also on the street, so to speak, that the city has initiated. It's new funding opportunity, so it's kind of under that kind of umbrella in our office, and it's called Impact. And this is a funding opportunity that's open to local artists and organizations that are within San Diego community concern or the San Diego Promise Zone. These are areas that cities identify for investment. And so we are investing in those areas by supporting change-making, innovative projects that will support systematic challenges with the arts and cultural creative sectors, and also have very strong community values and community reflection involved in the projects. So we have that open now. People will be focused. We'll be looking for 10 collaborations with either a lead artist or a lead organization. They'll receive base funding of $100,000 over about an 18-month period to basically plan and develop first and then implement a project. So if you know any artist organizations that are based in those areas, we do have a tool that will tell people that they're in those areas on our website. It is on the impact page, where people can like put in their zip code just to confirm that's the case. But if you know any, but you might share that as well.
But it's significant, 10 artists, 50 for the first part, 50 for the second part. That's my sum.
It hopefully will have impactful projects within those communities. That's the goal. And that concludes our updates.
Thank you.
Well, as long as we're on that, I'll just go ahead and make an also announcement that World Design Capital is also looking to fund projects for the World Design Capital Initiative in 2024. There's a call for nonprofits and others that would want to participate in some way to highlight our efforts, or I think $1 million. It's partially funded by the city.
Yeah, and so just to clarify that, opportunity will open in December.
Yeah.
And so of course, we'll bring more information to you all once that kind of we get closer to the date of when it'll open. But yes, that will be an opportunity, as commissioners to use. So
One final thing on the impact, if we will go into this discussion as well, what you think about this, that you don't have to be a 501c3. You can be artists, you can be, it's really trying to go out to those people that typically don't have access to funds. So you gotta be motivated to run those zones.
What is, do you know the financial parameters with the maximum funding that can be individual?
50. Those are for what?
50,
For what? Which one?
well, from WDC.
I don't know.
Okay.
that
But
that
for,
will still be no more.
yeah, but for impact, what is the max 50?
It's $100,000, and if you're a lead artist, you have to collaborate with an arts and culture organization or an organization who produces art projects. If you're a lead organization, then you have to work with an artist, team of artists, or an organization. So the intent is it's collaboration. There's a lead involved, but a lead can be an artist, which is unique, or a lead can be an organization.
The organization has to be below, I think it's $450,000.
$500,000 annual operating budget or below.
Okay, so we just don't want all of it.
Yes.
I was gonna say, like, kids are.
No, so the intention is really to support and fill in gaps that have really, artist organizations that have had to work outside of the system.
Thank you very much. Are there any committee members? Finally, Mr. Miller, please read any particular comment for this item that was submitted in writing and call on any attendees who'd like to provide sort of comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Friedman. No comments submitted in writing. Currently, no one in attendance.
All right. Well, thank you, committee members. Our next meeting now is planned for Friday, November 10th. This meeting is adjourned at 9:18 a.m. Thank you.
But you didn't ask, you wanted to make any comment.
Oh, no, okay.
Okay. Thing is, Fridays are very difficult. I'm really upset that there's so many commissioners that are not here. And I know people that Friday. So that's something that going forward into the year. This is another day that we all, it's very enriching for all here. It's better. So I think my commissioner.
But I think it's also helpful is when we do these meetings back to back. That way, it doesn't come down here.
That's true.
You just go right in.
I don't know why you want to.
Share that feedback, with the executive, okay, that would be something to share off.
Okay. Okay, awesome. And so when you have that conversation, also consider.
Because Fridays are open. Well, most of it's there's other days.
Okay.
I don't think it's actually.
No, yeah.
Any day, if everyone comes from all, I mean, You come all the way from campus, I mean, that's an hour, and what's in rush hour, you get to that, and, yeah, so, we can do it Sunday mornings.
I don't even know the lunch play.
All right.
I'm sorry. Friday the tenth is better.
We'll get back to you.
It's better at every morning.
Yeah, we have thing.
One more, here. It's very hard for us to get together. I would love for us to participate at the one playhouse and see the play. But if we can't all come together, I will give you a discount code. That will be for the entire season. And right now it's well, which was. So it's PLC Partners, all cap. So when you're going in, getting your ticket, then they're gonna say, if you have a discount code, then it's PLC Partners. And you'll be able to use it for loan, and also. We have not changed it. 3, 4, 5 years, so. PLC Partners, and then also if you are professors and you have students, it is, student partners. Same, so you can choose to give that to your students so they can participate in this and enjoy. Yeah, it's student partners, so that's good color, student partners. Yes.
Great.
But we are first together.
Thank you. All right, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. You all, whatever you decide to do.